Welcome to Chapter 3. Now that you've found your literature, it's time to transform those individual articles into a coherent, compelling literature review. So in this section, we'll learn how to organize your sources, write synthesized reviews rather than article summaries, and use your literature review to set up your research study effectively. Think of a literature review as telling a story about your research area, not just listing what others have done. You are building an argument for why your research matters and what specific question needs to be answered. A good literature review weaves studies together to show patterns, conflicts, and gaps rather than just describing each study separately. Before writing a single sentence, create a summary table of your key articles. This bird's eye view helps you see the forest, not just the trees. You might notice that most studies used college students, or that interview studies found different results than questionnaires. These patterns become the themes of your literature review and often point to exactly what your study should address. Structure your review like a funnel. So begin broadly with why the topic matters, then narrow down to specific issues. Lead with compelling statistics that grab attention. Define key terms so readers understand exactly what you're studying. A brief history shows you understand the field's development. Most importantly, organized by themes and findings, not by individual studies. Compare these openings. The first is just a fact. The second establishes that Head Start is a major program serving vulnerable children, explains why nutrition matters in this context, and sets up a specific research question. Your opening should make readers think, this is important and I want to know more. Use concrete details and statistics to establish significance. Notice how specific statistics make this opening compelling. Instead of saying bicycle crashes are dangerous, the authors give us exact percentages that show the scope of the problem. The statistics come from credible sources and demonstrate why this research matters for public safety. This kind of opening makes your literature review much more persuasive. Clear definitions prevent confusion and show your expertise. In therapy research, there are subtle but important differences between dropping out, completing treatment, and rejecting therapy entirely. By defining these terms up front, readers know exactly what you mean throughout your review. This is especially important when terms are used differently across studies. A brief history shows how the research has evolved and helps readers understand why certain questions are being asked now. This mobile phone example shows that early research focused on hospital contamination, but as phones became widespread, researchers shifted to studying broader risk. You don't need extensive history, just enough to provide context. Critical reviewing means evaluating study quality, not just reporting findings. The revised version points out the huge difference in sample sizes, which might explain the different results. When studies disagree, help readers understand why. Was it methodology, sample population, sample size, population differences, or measurement issues? This analysis is what separates graduate level work from undergraduate summaries. Not all research findings are equally strong, and your language should reflect this. A finding from one small pilot study deserves different language than a result replicated across multiple large studies. When you use confidence indicating language, you're showing readers your ability to evaluate research quality and helping them understand which findings are most trustworthy. Your literature review should explicitly identify gaps that your research will address. This example shows how the authors identified Asian Americans as an understudied population in their research area. Gap identification is crucial because it justifies why your study is needed. Look for populations that haven't been studied, methods that haven't been tried, or theories that haven't been tested. Subheadings are like a roadmap for your literature review. They show readers where you're going and help them follow your logic. Good subheadings also make the writing process easier because you can focus on one section at a time. Notice how these headings move from general importance and definitions to specific different populations and findings. Your literature review should build a logical bridge to your research questions. By the end, readers should think, of course, that's exactly what needs to be studied next. Use transition language that explicitly connects the literature to your proposed study. The best literature reviews make the research questions seem inevitable, given what has been found and what has been missing. These are the most common mistakes that I see in literature reviews by students. The biggest problem is treating each article separately instead of weaving them together thematically. Remember, you do not need to include every article you found. Focus on the most relevant and highest quality studies. Always evaluate what you're citing rather than accepting everything at face value. So you need to read your sample literature review 1 that is posted for you. So let's practice critical analysis with the real literature review. As you read the sample, pay attention to how the authors structure their argument, establish importance, and connect their literature to a specific research hypothesis. Notice both the strengths and areas where you might have done things differently. This kind of critical reading will improve your own writing. Remember that a literature review is an argument for your research, not just a collection of summaries. Start with organization tools like summary tables. Focus on synthesis across studies, and always connect your literature to your proposed research. The goal is to make your research questions seem like a logical next step, given what's known and what is missing. Next week, we'll learn the technical details of citing sources properly in APA and ASA format.